To let everybody in. Um, I'm recording the meeting, so you should have gotten a prompt there that this is a recorded meeting, and I think that's everyone that's coming in right now. Give me just one moment. Okay. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bulldog Parent University webinar for tonight. First, just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded, so please just be watching your mics, keeping those muted. And a little bit about this webinar. This is a series hosted by the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement. This office supports just various initiatives on campus to support leadership development. We also support first generation students, our international students, transfer students. We also have a freshman mentorship program. We handle all registered student organizations, Greek life, and that's just to name a few of our student groups. So it's a very busy office. And of course, we're also doing the Bulldog Parent University and, engaging with our parents in this office as well. So these monthly sessions are just designed to keep you parents in the loop about how you can help your student navigate their college obligations, navigate life on campus, things of that sort. So for those that may not know me, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Shalisa Bynum. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement. I've been with Alabama A&M since January of 2025. So it's been about 8, 9 months that I've been working on campus. And just a few little housekeeping rules for this session. Again, we're recording. Um, After the end of each presenter, you can start putting questions that you have for them in the chat. I will go through all those questions, read them out to our presenters, and they will respond to your questions. So we should have plenty of time for that tonight. Trying to think anything else. Believe that's about it. So tonight we're going over student engagement, involvement, and civic engagement. So we have two really great presenters tonight. We have Dr. Jessica Brown of the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement as well, and Ms. Angel Lee, who is over Career Development Services. So we are going to start with Dr. Brown. She's going to pull up her presentation slides in just a moment. We're going to give her a few minutes. I'll let Dr. Brown introduce herself, what her title is, what she does, and we can go ahead and get into your presentation when you're ready, Dr. Brown.
Unmute myself. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Dr. Jessica Brown. I'm a Service Director of the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. I have been with Alabama A&M University since February of 2023, and we have definitely evolved our office. We over the summer transitioned or are transitioning our office from student activities and leadership development. So if your student has referenced that name into our new name of student leadership and engagement. So tonight I'll be talking a little bit about what all that encompasses. Ms. Bynum mentioned a few of those things. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those. So I'll get started with first. What we do. So it's really our goal to foster student engagement across campus through engaging programs and services. We want students to excel beyond the classroom. So a lot of the activities that you see outside of the classroom when it comes to student engagement, we are a part of making those things happen. And I'll touch on a few of what those things are, but it's ultimately our goal to create, excuse me, well-rounded global leaders, elevating the student experience, and ultimately really just want students to gain a sense of belonging from the time that they enter the university. So we have our Bulldog Beginnings sessions when they first move in up until they graduate. We want them to have a connection to campus and want campus to feel like they're home away from home through the services and programs that we provide. Just to give you a snapshot of our team, so our core team is up top here. As mentioned, we have two assistant directors. Ms. Bynum works a lot with our international student engagement, our Bulldog parent and family engagement, first generation initiatives, and more. Our other assistant director, Ms. Brown, works with our Greek Life, our Student Government Association, and all of our registered student organizations. We have our program coordinator, Ms. Danielle Jefferson Williams, also known as Ms. D, who works with a lot of our signature programming on campus. We have our two administrative assistants, Ms. Zoe and Ms. Scruggs, who help with office operations, and also our transfer students and our freshman peer mentors, which I'll talk a little bit more about. But because we are a small office and we do a lot of programming, we also have some folks on campus and not on campus who help volunteer capacity with some of our initiatives. So you can see them across the bottom with helping with some of our organizations as well. So, as I mentioned, we oversee a lot of areas within our office and with the transition over the summer. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about how your student can be involved with the initiatives that we have. And so, first, I want to talk a little bit about our student organizations and governance. And so, within our office, we have six student groups that report directly to us. So, we oversee Student Government Association, our Student Activities Board, our Rural Court, our Freshman Peer Mentor Program, which I'll talk about in a second, Student Publications, and our NPHC Executive Board. And so those groups each have a role within our office and on campus. Of course, SGA being the governing body for the campus and helping students advocate and have a voice regarding different issues and kind of keeping students informed of what's going on and making that connection between university leadership and the student body. Our Student Activities Board plans a lot of our programming, social programming on campus. Our roll court is our Mr. and Miss Alabama A&M University and their court, and we also have Campus Queen. So all of our registered student organizations are able to have a Campus Queen as well that participates in certain events with the roll court, again, overseeing all of the registered students. So it's our goal that all students get involved in something before they leave. I always say, it's great to have that 4.0 in class. That is great. But when you get into that interview for your internship, graduate school, your job, what else is setting you apart? And so, what other experiences can you talk about that you've had on campus that are ultimately teaching you these soft skills and these transferable skills that will transfer into the role that you're applying for? And so, that's why we really push our students to join at least one student organization while they're at Alabama A&M so that they can gain those skills that they can take with them beyond graduation. We also have opportunities. We know that our students are creative, and so we have student entrepreneurs on campus, and so we have a process for them to be able to showcase their talents on campus at certain events, as well as our student brand ambassadors. So these are students that are connected to corporations and businesses that they have to have certain requirements of activities that they do on campus. And so we work with them as well. Leadership development and transition programs. So we do a lot of leadership development programming, a lot with our student leaders and also our RSOs. We have our student leadership retreat. We also have a summit for all of our student organizations to really just help them get set up for the year. But beyond that, also we do leadership development programming such as our Bulldogs Lead series that we have. Where we invite speakers in to talk about various topics ranging from mental health, hazing prevention, all of those type of things that they can take with them. But also on the transition program side, looking at our Bulldog Welcome Experience, our freshman peer mentors, they are in I think this is their second or third year of existence on campus, and they're really here to serve as peer support for the incoming students to help them get acclimated and adjusted to campus. And so we have a cohort of students, they can apply to be in that cohort. We take up to about 300 students right now who can be a part of that program. They do monthly workshops with them, social and educational activities to make sure that they have their questions answered and feel acclimated beyond what we can do as administrators on campus, having that peer support. Also, first generation students. So, building out that program with our first gen chats that are hosted once a month and looking at more engagement to add for our first generation students as well. A big component that a lot of our students they're excited about when they come to college is Greek life. When they're wanting to join fraternities and sororities, and so um, we advise directly the National Panhellenic Council Executive Board, which is composed of our Divine Nine organizations, but also indirect support to each of the chapters that are active on campus, as well as our social Greek organizations, but also Greek life compliance. So we do required hazing prevention programming. So if students are interested in joining any of our NPHC or social Greek organizations, they are required to participate in hazing prevention training to make sure that we have a safe environment for those who are participating in membership intake for any of these organizations. As mentioned already, international student support. So, working to support our international students as they are coming into the university and while they are here at the university from, Ms. Bynum, working with them from getting their I-20s and their registrations completed to also just providing support through programming. So, such as our International Education Week that happens in November. Um, Again, campus signature program. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Um, from homecoming to spring week and things like that. Community service initiatives. So we are working with currently our freshman academy because they oversee individual service. So individual students that are doing community service, they would register those hours with freshman academy. But for student organizations, our office is kind of taking on making sure that their hours are set as a group. Again, opportunities like today, Bulldog Parent University, parent and family engagement, and we're looking to expand and grow in that area as well, of how we can engage our parents to really also get the Bulldog experience from a guardian lens in that perspective. We also have our Student Emergency Fund, which is for to support students who may be in need of emergency funding for different things. We don't cover tuition or anything like that, but if they have a bill or something happens where they are, let's say a car accident or something and they need something, they can submit an application for our committee to review to help support them if they need something. Um, our student center operations, we currently are not in our student center. It's been under renovations, but we hope to be back in there soon. But overseeing that space, we have a couple of event spaces in there that we're able to rent, reserve out to students for their activities. And again, student publications. So our yearbook, in our monthly newsletter that goes out to students, and they also capture a lot of photography and social media content at the events that we have. So I know I said a lot there, but we're super busy trying to make sure that we engage students. I'm not going to go through all of these, but this just kind of gives you a snapshot of some of our signature programs. By no means is this all of the programs. I will mention we just finished our Bulldog Welcome Experience last Friday. So it was 4 weeks of programming, starting with when freshmen get to campus in that first week, all the way up until depending on when school starts, the first or second week of September. And so just providing them with a variety of programming. Homecoming is coming up. Students have been notified about homecoming events and how they can participate. So one of the things I'll say to you all as parents, make sure to encourage your students to check their emails. Of course, following us on social media because we post everything there as well. But we do, from within our office, as well as our Student Government Association, send out daily emails about events and activities that are coming up. And so we encourage them to check their email so they don't miss out on any important information and to really read those emails, especially when it comes to informative things like, let's say, hazing prevention or homecoming, how to buy their tickets to the concerts, different things like that. Make sure that they're reading those emails and following those instructions so that they can participate in those events. Um, but again, this just kind of gives you a snapshot of some of the things that we do on a day to day. And again, leadership development opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, our mentorship program, speaker series. We also take our student leaders to some conferences in the summer so they can get additional leadership development as well. Also, if your student is not involved in one of our six groups that we directly advise, we do have student leader selection and elections that takes place in the spring. So we do have mandatory informational meetings in January each year. So tell them to look out for that and they can learn how they can apply for those organizations. But when it comes to our registered student organizations, they have an opportunity to join those throughout the year, depending on what type of organization it is. And I'll just kind of close out with, just some reminders of why it's important for your students to get involved on campus. Is building again that sense of belonging. It helps increase retention in their graduation rates because they are actively involved and not just in their rooms. It's developing their leadership and career readiness skills, which I know Ms. Lee is going to talk about. Expands networking. A lot of lifelong friends were made, are usually made in college. So having those connections and enhancing just their overall college experience. So we want to make sure that we're able to support them in all of those things. And so just want to end with our contact information and I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brown. That was great. As Dr. Brown mentioned, now is the time. If you have questions, you can go ahead and put those in the chat. I'm glad to go through those so that Dr. Brown can get your questions answered. Anything about the signature programs, the other events that this office does, how your student can select what's right for them, anything like that. You can go ahead and put those in the chat if you have questions. And I'm not seeing any right now, but I'll give it a few more minutes just in case. Dr. Brown was very thorough, so nobody has any questions, I guess. Okay, here we have one. My daughter has been trying to join a Lima dance. She has been looking, but to no avail. I believe that's a dance crew or a
Yes.
dance group on
Yes, it
campus.
is. I'll put in the chat, I'll send you the contact to the advisor. Oh, well, never mind. Ms. Lee just put it there. Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Lee. You can have your daughter to contact Ms. Ryan, and she can make that connection for, I'm not sure if they do tryouts or how they do, but she can give you that information. Yes. So she said, yes, they do tryouts.
Yes, thank you for that question. And just for clarity, that group technically is not through our office. It is, I think, just through Ms. Ryan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she's
it's a registered student. So we still oversee, like indirectly oversee the RSOs, but yeah, she's one of their advisors. So she definitely can give you some information.
okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions about Office of Student Leadership and Engagement, how to develop student leaders, uh, anything of that sort? Any other questions? Well, I'm not seeing any more. I'll give it a couple more seconds just in case. But it looks like that's it. So thank you so much, Dr. Brown. We appreciate all the knowledge you shared, the information. Thank you for all you do to keep this office running. It would be a mess without you. So
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ms.
yes.
Bowman.
Y'all, Dr. Brown does a lot. So she is constantly busy from sun up to sundown, always texting us about things that are due and all that. So this is a busy woman right here. So thank you for like taking time out of your evening to talk with the parents. So we appreciate that. And so at this point, we're going to switch it over. I'm going to give Miss Lee a couple minutes to, excuse me, there's some other folks in the chat. Give me one second. But I'm going to give Miss Lee a moment to pull up whatever slides or website she wants to use. And while she's doing that, I'll just remind you guys of a few things. So first, you can mark your calendars for the next two Bulldog Parent University sessions. The next one is going to be October 20th. I'm excited for that one. That's called What's on Your Mind. So it'll be about student mental health on campus. We have Dr. Johnson and Miss Christine Baker, who are the director and assistant director at the Student Health and Wellness Center, presenting about that. So that's going to be a really great one for all the parents to attend. And then in November, it will be called On to the Next. And we'll have Miss Carla Miller of Residential Life. She'll go over some preparation tips for the holiday move out and things of that sort. So if you have a student who lives on campus, that would be a great one to attend. So let me just let a few more people that just came in into this chat, or excuse me, into the room. And so now we're going to turn it over to Miss Angel Lee of Career Development Services. I'll let you just start by introducing yourself, and then you can go ahead and get into your presentation.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm Angel Lee. I serve as the Interim Director for Career Development Services. I've been at Alabama A&M University for 11 years, all in Career Development Services. So I'm having some technical difficulties, so I would appreciate if you can adjust with me. My presentation may not operate as I would like it to. So if not, I'll switch to displaying our web pages. So we are Career Development Services. Miss Ryan, as many people at Alabama A&M University, wear multiple hats and do different things outside of our office space. So for the parent who asked about joining ALEMA, Miss Ryan does work in our office. She's also a trained professional dancer and has her own dance studio after hours, and also serves as the advisor to ALEMA. So kind of closing that loop. So students do have to try out. Miss Ryan is pretty intense. She's had many students graduate from her dance studio and go on to compete for scholarships at many other schools with professional programs. So yes, while it's a student group, she treats them very seriously as a performer. So transitioning to Career Development Services, we're located in Patton Building, Room 101. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Students are welcome to drop in our office at any time to meet with someone in our office, or they can schedule an appointment. And my slides are not advancing. So I am going to stop sharing, and I'm going to share our website, and I'm going to go over our website directly, which is what my slideshow was about. So give me just a second, and hopefully this will be a little easier. So as I said, we're Career Development Services. Many of our resources your students can find directly on our webpage. So this is our homepage. Our contact information is located on Meet Our Team, our list of programs and services. We have a calendar of events. We have information about student group engagement, special events, on-campus employment, and professional development. So these are the core boxes. Under Meet Our Team, your student can find their career coach who is assigned by their college. All of our information is up to date and accurate, although I do have different hair now. So we have an individual that supports each particular college. So if your student, for example, is in the College of Agriculture, their career counselor would be Ms. Fodovich. So all of that detail is found on Meet Our Team. So if for some reason your student, we are organized that way. So those individuals in our office, they provide direct support to those majors. So we also do specific programming related to each individual group of majors or college. Under our programs and services, just as Dr. Brown indicated, we provide career counseling, research, resume reviews and critiques, interview prep. Our programs include career fairs, employer information sessions, graduate and professional school expos, interview day, career week, and a host of other activities. Here, once again, is a description of what our career counselors can offer your student. So we provide resume reviews, we provide career counseling. So that's meeting with your student and discussing their major and providing information about where they should go as far as it relates to what major, what things that they can do with that major, what type of opportunities are available to them, whether that's an internship, part-time job, full-time job. Those are the services that you can expect to find for your student. So many of your students are looking for on-campus employment. Some students were awarded work study. If your student was not awarded work study, there are other opportunities for on-campus employment. We get a lot of questions about that. And there are 3 departments currently that are actively hiring. And these are the main areas that students can still find employment if they're still looking. The dining hall, which is Airmark, they provide services for catering. They provide services for the pod, Subway, Chick-fil-A. So Airmark is our primary concessionaire, and they provide all meal services. We also, for students who are strong tutors, can work and provide tutoring services to students. And the RISE Foundation, which is one of our government contractors. It is an independent office on campus, but they do have a lot of government contracts. So for some students, they do offer opportunities for students to work on campus and support special projects within government contracting. So I always like to highlight, we're really proud of this page. If your student is working and needs to learn how to apply for a job, that might be posted in Handshake. Those are available. Their timesheets. So we are really trying to provide resources for our students who are looking for on-campus employment. These 6 boxes are specifically focused on our students. If our students want to connect with us, create their resume, dress for success, pursue additional job opportunities or career paths, advance their career if they're looking for an advanced degree. And once they're ready to graduate, they are required to clear for graduation with our office. So these 6 boxes are specifically for our students. For example, for a student who's looking to create a resume, we do have sample resumes for every single college, every single major. So if your student does not have a resume, then we encourage your student to download a sample template. It is a Word document, so there should be a resume sample for every single major at Alabama A&M to help your student get started. Their resume does not have to look identical to ours, but these are just samples to help your student get started. So for our parents who are really interested in following us and knowing what's coming up for our upcoming events, our webpage, our upcoming events are always appear at the bottom of our page. For our parents who are also interested, these events also will appear on the Alabama A&M homepage, I believe a week out from each event. Next week is Career Week. So it's our main all majors career fair. If you are ever interested in finding out about our upcoming events, you can always click on the special events tab, which has our upcoming events listed. So your student should have received this flyer as an email. Your student should be receiving all of our upcoming events. There are customized messaging based on their major and their discipline and their classification. So if your student is saying they can't find an opportunity, make sure you're encouraging your student to check their email. We also send out text messages, so there's no way that your student shouldn't be connected to our office and receiving the latest information about our upcoming events. So if you are interested in finding out if you land on the Alabama A&M homepage and you're not able to find our page, click on Campus Life, and in the drop-down menu, you'll be able to go directly to the Career Development Services tab. When I do a presentation, I always like to review these services and access to resources, just because sometimes our students and our parents are not always aware that this information is available to them. Our job and our focus is to prepare our students. So your students, when they get here, they should be engaging with our office, whether that's attending an event, coming in our office directly to meet with staff. Any questions at this time?
If you have questions, go ahead and be typing those in the chat for Miss Lee.
I do want to share an additional resource that is available to your student. We use a software application called Handshake. I like to liken it to LinkedIn. It's very similar to LinkedIn and Facebook. So it's a social media app. Employers have the ability to post jobs. Students have the ability to apply for those jobs. So if you're familiar with LinkedIn, students do have the ability to create a resume, upload it, and post their resume in the platform, just like LinkedIn. Once a student adds their resume to Handshake, a student can be contacted by an employer that's posted a job in Handshake, just like you can in LinkedIn. So let me bring up Handshake. Give me a second. It's one of our best resources. Even if your student says, well, I've been to the career fair and there's no one there for me. Make sure you're encouraging your student to look at our online resources in the event that an employer of their choice has not attended a fair at Alabama A&M.
Thank you, Miss Lee, for sharing that. Does anyone else want to ask a question, get clarification on career development services? Anything else like that? Someone is asking, will there be an opportunity for headshots again?
So we have 5 opportunities for your student to take a professional headshot. We don't do that every single day in our office, but we want students to attend our events. So we've identified 5 additional events because we want to drive traffic where students have an opportunity to be dressed professionally and meet with employers. So your students should be receiving emails about our upcoming events. The next one, I believe, is October 27th. But we'll offer at least a total of 5 times this semester and 5 times next semester.
Perfect, thank you. Does anyone else have a question for Ms. Lee about students finding jobs, about any kind of professional development opportunities available for them, anything like that?
So this is what Handshake looks like for students. This is the landing page. They can click on the tab for jobs and search for any opportunities that they're looking for. And so these are jobs specifically for early talent. So if a student is considered early talent, which means that they may not have any work experience, employers post these jobs specifically in this database, specifically for college students. So this is a little different than your LinkedIn. LinkedIn or Indeed are expecting sometimes students to have work experience. These opportunities that are posted are not necessarily focused on work experience. This is how your student might get their first opportunity. This is my student profile, which is not a real student profile, but my profile is based on a marketing major. So I typed in marketing internship. And so students can find anything that they're looking for, even if they don't come to campus. So sometimes our students will say, well, I want to work for Apple, and Apple may not be coming to campus, but they very well may be posting a job opportunity in Handshake. And so Apple right now is looking for a public relations intern. So, well, they might not come to campus. They definitely are posting in the database. So encourage your student, wherever they want to work, to search the Handshake database and start applying. So one last thing that I like to share with parents is for anyone who's new to higher education and the recruitment process, internships are more often, there are more internship opportunities available to apply for in the fall semester than in the spring semester. So your larger companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, they might be hiring nationwide, and they may hire over 200 to 300 interns for the summer. So they don't wait until the spring semester to hire for the summer. They're more likely opening their internship applications in the fall so that they can identify those students, interview them, and get them placed for the summer session. So any student comes in our office looking for an internship in April, they're behind the curve. Because the larger companies that have more opportunities tend to offer them, and they open in the summer or fall semester. For example, Blue Origin, their internships opened in June. Amazon's internships open in August. So if your student is looking for an internship, make sure you're nudging them to encourage them to start looking early than late. Because if your student is looking for an internship, they really lost out on a lot of opportunities if they start looking in April.
Thank you. And kind of somewhat related, someone asked, where will the students find conferences that are offered that they may be able to attend?
So Dr. Brown indicated they kind of group them called registered student organizations. So depending on what your student's major is, I would encourage them to join the club associated with their major. So for example, if your student is an accounting major, then they would join the accounting club or NABA. So the clubs typically are coordinated by their academic advisor, and they facilitate those conferences. So if your student is an engineering student, they might join NSBE, or they might join Girls Who Code, or they might join SWE, Society of Women Engineers. So those organizations' conferences are actually driven by the actual club, not necessarily always the university, but the colleges also, if your student is in the College of Engineering, one of the conferences that the college takes, meaning the dean's office, kind of coordinates BEA. So I think it's Black Engineering organization. So sometimes the colleges themselves, the dean's office, also facilitates helping students go to professional conferences. There are a lot of internships for freshmen. And so your students should start receiving emails if they're a freshman in the next week, or not in the next week, tomorrow, listing the companies that are recruiting for freshmen during the career fair next Thursday, September 25th.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lee. Before we close out with Ms. Lee's presentation, is last call for any questions related to jobs, internships, conferences, anything else that you guys want to know about with career development services. Are social work internships frequent is the next question.
So the College of Social Work, so their major, some majors have more facilitation by their faculty. So the social work department kind of facilitates internships in those spaces, but students can also actively pursue them. So there are a lot of opportunities for social work, but a lot of that is really driven by their major. So for example, the social work department, just like education majors, they often have to have so many hours of internship experience in their discipline. So I liken it to say that, like, for school teachers, when a student who's an education major gets into their sophomore year or second semester sophomore year or first semester junior year, they'll start doing their student teaching. So they'll do their observation periods. So social work has that as built in as a part of their program, their curriculum. It's designed that way. But there are other opportunities. So my thing is sometimes students have to be a little bit more focused when they pick social work. So they have to figure out what industry do they want to be in when they pick social work, because that's where the opportunity is going to be. If your student is going to be a social worker and they want to work in K-12, then they should look for internships in K-12. If they want to be a social worker with the state, then they're going to look for jobs within the state. If they want to work for a nonprofit or a medical center, then they're going to have to be a little bit more focused on what area of social work they want to do. But there are definitely opportunities for social work internships at hospital settings. So some majors, it's very intuitive. Like, if you're an education major, you're just going to be at a school. But for a social work major, they're going to have to figure out what discipline and where they want to be focused in that discipline.
And Ms. Lee, I think you may have said this too with social work. I guess is that the same as when they have their field education component
Yes,
in the
I didn't call it
curriculum?
that, but you're right. Yes.
Okay.
And then
Now,
someone in the
clear.
chat asked, would it be the same for psychology majors, I guess, in reference to internships?
Your psychology majors are going to have to be even more focused. They're going to have to really figure out what they want to do with a psychology major. So a lot of psychology majors want to be in HR. So they're going to have to kind of figure out, what do I want to do with that psychology degree? Do I want to be in a hospital setting? So that's why I say they're going to have to be more focused. It's really a broad degree. So they have to figure out where their specialty lies. Do they want to do HR? Do they want to do a hospital setting? Do they want to be in a clinical setting? And so that's really setting so psychology doesn't have to have a practicum. But so that's going to really set them up for success if they figure out really early on. And I encourage them to start doing it their freshman year, because if you have an internship your freshman year and you don't like it, you've already discovered, I really don't want to be in psychology in a hospital setting. So your next year you might say, hey, okay, so maybe I want to be in HR. So then you do an internship in HR your sophomore year and you say, okay, well, I didn't really like HR. So it allows them to at least fine tune what they like and what they don't like. And then through those social settings, they'll be able to figure out, well, I didn't really like being in a hospital setting, but I did like this aspect of it. So internships and co-ops give students the opportunity to get hands-on training and exposure.
And I'd also add for psychology majors, I would definitely encourage joining the psychology club. They are a very active group on campus. And so I think that's another way that they can learn about opportunities as well, in addition to their department.
Okay, any other questions? I'm not seeing any. So thank you, Ms. Lee, for your presentation and all you do to help our students get employment, get internships. This is a very important part of the college experience, as you said, prepping them to go out into the real world to be employed and good citizens. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for your presentation. At this time, I'm just going to close out with a few announcements. You just give me a second to pull them up. I know a lot of you kind of came in during the middle, so definitely go ahead and mark your calendars for the next two meetings of the semester. There'll be, the next one is October 20th. It's called What's on Your Mind? And this is about mental health support for students on campus. And as I mentioned before, we'll have Dr. Johnson and Ms. Christine Baker from the Student Health Center presenting that night. And then the following month in November, it'll be on November the 17th, also at 6 o'clock. We will have Ms. Carla Miller from Residential Life to answer questions, give you a little bit of tips about holiday move out and how we should be facilitating that according to their policies. So also I wanted to mention that we have a Bulldog Parent University YouTube channel that we just started from the last month's webinar. So as you know, we always record them, and it just seemed a lot easier instead of posting it to a website, like an office website, it's a lot easier for me to just edit these over the course of the week and post them on the YouTube channel. So I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat just in case. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I get these edited and post them to the YouTube channel. It's just an easier way for us to connect. It's a faster way for me to get these recordings out. For those of you that maybe came in a few minutes late, you can go back and watch the recap, the recording. So the link is in the chat for that. And so we're going to get out a little bit early tonight. So I just want to, again, thank our two presenters. Please, parents, be watching the parent portal, social media, any place that we post about these Bulldog Parent University sessions. I know we only do them once a month, so it can kind of be hard to keep it on your radar. But right now, the campus portal or the parent portal is the best spot. And if you want to watch the recording, we have that YouTube channel that's in the chat. So feel free to share all those links with any other parents. So thank you everyone for attending tonight's session. This was a really good one about keeping your students engaged and involved and getting them ready to enter out post-graduation into society. So just want to thank you for attending, and we will see you guys next month in October. So everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bonham. Good
Have
night,
a good
everyone.
night.
Thank you.